Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Friends from Work. I'm Tom, this is Sean, and on today's episode we are going to be discussing You Part 2 and Season 4 of You overall. But before we do that, do us a favor, leave a like right now, subscribe down below, follow us on TikTok and Instagram, links are on the screen and down below. And other than that, let's get...
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. Let's get right into it. I'll let Sean take the lead.
I really liked Season 2. Me and Tom both were kind of dreading watching it, but I told him when I started watching it, I just watched the whole thing instantly. It really had a good flow to it. I think it got back to vibes that we liked about it, where Joe's just a psychopath. You find out that dude was just a figment of his imagination. I can't remember. I was telling Tom, I thought he said that in the last one.
Did you watch?
No, I did not watch it. I started watching, but I didn't finish the whole thing. But I could have swore you said that in it, where you thought it was he was a figment of. Maybe you said it to me, Alex, but I'll look. But I'm pretty sure you said it to me. I don't know if it was on camera or off camera, but that was wild when you're holy. I forgot. I got distracted for a second. So while he was torturing Reese, then all of a sudden he was dead, and the other Reese was there. I'm like, did he have a double? I'm did he make a double? And then I rewind. I'm oh, he just came out of the shadows. So Joe's crazy. And I'm oh. And then it all started unfolding, and I don't know if "make sense" is the word, but not make sense. But that's how. Can
you calm down?
Yeah, it not making sense made it feel more like you.
Yeah.
Before it was this weird serial killer, and then Joe was trying to stop him when I was talking about who is he, Jack Reacher?
Yeah, it felt weird. Also, we got 3 minutes left. Can you calm down with your swearing, sir? We're monetized now.
Oh, okay, sorry. What
this
did I
guy.
say?
I can't repeat it. I like to. This guy. But no, I do agree with you. The first half of the season, and then later on when we discuss our ratings, it affected the scoring heavily because, yes, everything Sean just said was 100% correct. The second half was absolutely crazy. It made you at the edge of the seat, their endings usually do. And then that's what the build-up does. And part one was so lackluster. And we said this off-screen, maybe we said it on camera too, is the way that they've always written the show is you need the entire season. That's why everyone loved the show is so you just don't stop. And that's why I think what ruined it. Because I'm thinking, I kept going back and forth this in my head. I'm I guess it did work out because everyone's raving about part two, but they definitely lost a percentage of fans of part one if you did split it up because this is such a poor season. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't.
It's hard.
I know what you mean. I don't know how many people would have not watched the second part, so I guess they kind of just knew who everyone was gonna watch. I just thought kind of ruined the flow of the show.
Yeah.
I think the only good episode of the part one was the first one, where it had that traditional feel where what the hell's happening? Where he wakes up, there's a dead body, he chops it up, he starts doing Joe stuff and lying, and then you're oh, okay. And then said it's now turned into To Catch a Predator or To Catch a Serial Killer. So it felt really good.
They romanticized him,
yeah,
without showing any of his bad qualities. But then, it turns out he just was still being Joe. But it was interesting. I wanted to ask you this. So it was Marianne, who was his obsession for this season, so to speak, to an extent. Obviously, it turned into Kate, but it was originally Reese. And I wanted to ask you. I have an idea on why, but why do you think his obsession came to be with Reese?
I don't know. That was the really intriguing part about season two, where
I really flipped it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. He was just oh, I saw his story, I read his book, and it just I gravitated. I don't know. It was just a mental break where he's creating multiple. I don't know. It was just this weird thing where it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Which made it very interesting. Where Joe really snapped. Where he thought he was Reese, and then he was kidnapping the girl, this other main girl that he loved, and blocked the whole part out where he had no idea, and he thought it was
wild.
Reese.
Penn Badgley killed that second half.
Yeah, that was so crazy. The guy who plays Reese did a really good job too. I like the little.
It started with an E. I saw when I was looking up the characters.
His little the second half where he's the devil on Joe's shoulder was all. I thought
funny.
It was even I think Reese was even better once it became like I said, the devil on Joe's shoulder.
It was apparent what it was.
Yeah, where he was just telling him bro, we got to kill her. He's she wants to die. Shoot her. He's she's asking you to. And I thought the second half was amazing. And then the Nadia, that was her name, right?
Yeah, Nadia.
Nadia.
Oh my God, the
that
framing.
Part with her. The only thing I don't get right there is why wouldn't she just instantly ran to go get the police? Like, would she find a girl locked in a box? Like, who cares what a crazy girl in the box says that you can't get out? Just go call the police. They're like, no, we're going to change the number of the phone, pretend to be. It's like, I don't know. That part was little nonsense.
They explained it to an extent where it was like, it would have been public. Joe would have found out. Like, he saw a police report, then he tracks her down again, then he kills her, and then he kills Nadia.
I mean, no, she would have. That's not what would have happened. She would have told the police. They would have waited for Joe and arrested him, and they never would have killed anybody. Like, she goes and gets the police. They go save Marianne, and then they just put a cop car in there, wait for Joe to come back, or put a warrant out for us and just go arrest Joe. He's just a teacher, and he doesn't know that they found out. He doesn't even know that Marianne's there right now in his brain.
Yeah.
So that part didn't make any sense. Where like they were trying to explain it away, but it was just like plot. Where like they had to keep it going. So
yeah. With the whole the multiple personality thing, it was a cool. I guess it wasn't multiple personality. It was just.
It was multiple personalities.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this season was, but it was yeah, this one was. But I think the reason I want to get back to this, the reason why I think he bonded with Reese so much, I put like trauma bonding, because I guess it was true that like Reese did go through some personal like traumatic stuff, and maybe that's why Joe connected with him so much. That was my only guess.
I guess I just think it was like he was having a mental break, and during the mental break he saw Reese type of thing. It's like not an actual thing, because we didn't even learn anything like details about Reese's his past. Like, we just knew he had trauma, and he kept saying like, "What did he tell you I did?" And like, we didn't even know anything about Reese.
You know, I thought Tom Lockwood was a figment of imagination too. I thought he was an illusion too. Once Kate's dad.
Yeah.
I thought he was like, he was like, "Oh, I need you to kill Reese." I was like, is this another?
Yeah, I liked him.
I thought that too, and then I was like, oh, because he was proving a lot of points too. He was like, "Joe, not doing anything wrong." And then once he got sad with him, I guess he wasn't.
It didn't make any sense once you find out Reese, like Joe didn't know Reese, because when he's like, "I need you to kill Reese," it's like the implication that he knows Reese.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, but he doesn't. Like, so why does
I guess we took it as the implication he knew Reese. He just knew that Joe could kill someone. He explained that later on. He's like, "I knew you could do it because I know you've went through it before. I know you killed your wife and stuff like that."
Well, I guess he did know Reese. Well, I guess, was Reese a part of their group?
No, he only bumped into him once.
Okay, so he wasn't a part of that friend group. Okay, that night he was just obviously hallucinating.
Yeah.
But okay, that like I said, it was all. But I like, that's what I really like about a show like that, where it is a little murky, where you're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah,
and that's how I felt like the whole second half of the season 4. And like I said, except for the part with Nadia and Marianne in the box was kind of nonsensical, because
they dragged it along.
No, well, I'm fine with the drag along, but like the reason why she didn't go tell the police, like you said, they're like, "Oh, he come and get me." It's like, no, the police would go and get him. He had a woman trapped in a box. Like,
I feel like it's also her character too. Marianne was like, whatever. She's like, she wanted to see her kid at the end of the day, so I guess it makes sense to be, I don't know.
To me, it would make sense to get out as soon as possible and deal with Joe after that.
Yeah. Whatchamacallit, with Nadia's character, because she's always seemed like especially with all the murder mysteries, like they set her up like that. She was like, "Oh, I know."
I kind of set Nadia up where like she would go along with whatever bullshit this girl was trying to swing. But yeah, that part was really interesting though, because then like Marianne's alive, then at the end of it ends with like freaking Joe stabs her boyfriend, just innocent guy who didn't do anything.
He actually didn't even break in.
He didn't break in. He didn't do anything really. He got the stuff to drug Joe, but they never did it, right?
No, because it was too late.
It was too late.
Like that. It didn't line up. That's what. Because she got stopped. Remember, she was at the bus station and everything spilled out. Then she had to spend the night at the
and it messed everything station. Up. Yeah.
That was really good, though.
So that guy gets killed just for being long, and then like he's like, "You can't tell anybody because they won't believe you." And it's like, you're going to jail for the murders, and I was like, "Oh my
shit. God!" That was probably the creepiest scene ever.
Yeah, that was this season. Yeah, that was wild. And she's just there like, he's right. What am I gonna say?
And Nadia killed it too. Like I said, the second half of You, like I gotta give my credits to Penn Badgley. I really do hope to see him in more things that's pretty creepy like this.
Yeah.
Just because like the way he like. The transition when he like because it felt real. Like usually you see it, I'm like, how are they gonna do it? It feels always cliche or corny, or it can be more than times than not. But when he was like, bah! Oh hey, like it was just like it wasn't like hello, like it wasn't weird, like he just continued on. It wasn't like I'm not Joe, I'm Reese. Like it wasn't like that obvious thing. I was really concerned.
He would just be like I'm not Joe, and then walk off.
Yeah,
I like the second half. A lot of people did a good job. I like Tom Lockwood. Yeah, thought he was a pretty dope character. Where like
where else has he been in? He's been in a bunch.
He's
of
in
shit.
a few things. Yeah, I think he's the dad in Home Alone, isn't he? Or no. That's a different guy. We'll have to look it up. He's been in a bunch of stuff though.
He looks like the guy from Twister. I know it's not, but I know it's not. It just looked like it.
I forgot. We'll have to look it up.
Day After Tomorrow. That dad? No, that's the same guy.
Dennis Quaid. Is that Dennis Quaid in Twister?
Yeah. Dennis Quaid. Yeah.
Not Dennis Quaid.
I know. It just looks like him. I knew it wasn't him.
Yeah, he was good. Kate was kind of annoying.
I'm curious. So obviously, season 5 is their last season. Penn Badge is like, this is gonna be their final season. Like, I don't even care if they don't want to do it. Then like, this is gonna be it. Like, I don't want to. Then he's like, and he wants to make it definitive. He wants Joe to meet his demise.
Oh, Joe's gonna die.
Yeah,
that's gay.
Well, he wants to make it. It's a serious finale. He wants to wrap it, which I'm okay with, because I like that. I like good endings. Like, I hate it when Dexter was like he had to meet his demise.
I'm fine if they like get away. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go live in France and kill girls on the low. Like, I think that's a cool ending. Like,
yeah, but it's gotta be one or the other.
For a serial killer.
It's gotta be one or the other. You know what I mean? But yeah, that'd be. I'm excited because now we're back in New York and he has his OG Joe face back with the cut too. It makes me want to rewatch season 1 again. When we did best season premiere, best pilots. Ever since then, I'm like, God, I really want to watch season 1 again because they're just.
I remember watching that with my wife and thinking like, oh, this is some lame girl show.
Some rom-com.
Yeah, and we watched. I'm like, damn, this is good. Like, oh, this dude is crazy.
Yeah, you go home, you're like, babe, can we watch this?
Yeah, right. We're gonna finish this or what? Like,
come on, what are we doing?
Playing games. But yeah, I do think they got back to the traditional You vibes.
The plot twist.
Yeah, right. Like so the first half was just boring. Maybe they're setting us up for that, but there was like no plot twist in the first one.
No, it was just pacing along.
In this one, like
felt
every
very
episode,
showy, if that makes sense.
Lockwood's like first episode back, it's like Reese like I need you to kill Lockwood. Then he goes to see Lockwood. Lockwood's like I need you to kill Reese. Then he kills Reese, or he realizes Reese is a figment of his imagination. He kills the real Reese. Yeah, and fucking and then he realized he's had Maria captured this whole time in a new box that he made. Like Marianne, sorry, not Maria. But that was just wild.
Also, I'm glad that they made fun of the text thing too. They're like, what about all the text? He's like, you made up myself like I was a real. Reese said to him like, you made up me as a real person. You think you can't make up a couple of texts in your head? Or the texting app was like disappeared. I like that because I know for a fact I brought that up.
You did say something that was like
that was so stupid, and then like it was stupid because it was that it was fake. It was a fake thing.
That's it was. The whole Reese was real thing didn't make any sense. Yes. Like it wasn't making any sense.
Felt really cliche.
Yeah.
And like with that app too, I was like, oh, so you had that app downloaded. You were just like, I was like, it all didn't make sense, but then it worked.
Or like when he showed up mad, when he's like, oh, you were trying. He's like, I smell a rat, and he's like, you're trying to videotape me, aren't you, or something?
And then they played it back, and then
I'm like, I'm like, first of all, why did Joe try that in the first fucking place? Right. But then he's like, he just knows now. Like,
yeah, no, that was
weird. And then, like I said, then it all comes full circle. And like Joe's an even bigger psycho than he was before. Yeah. Now he's got multiple personalities. I'm sure that's going to play a part in what happens in the next one.
I'm very excited. Yeah, that's what they need to do though. Is I want to have a discussion about this before we do our ratings and close out. Is what I think they need to do to have like a pretty good, pretty solid, perfect. I don't say perfect. A really well done ending. Final season is one of two things. I got a few options. They can, because obviously 4 out of the 10 episodes were actually good. Yeah. So I think that's.
I would say more than that. I think all the ones in the second half were good.
Well, yeah, but like it was like the episode 6 was like I say half of it. Yeah. So, but it's 10. But regardless, if half your season is meh and second half is good, that's just a pretty rough thing for your show. What I think they need to do is one of two things. The traditional Netflix route, just drop the whole season entirely, which I know they're not going to do. No. Or they can shorten it up, do 6 episodes, maybe 8. Or what Amazon does with The Boys, and The Boys is their biggest show, is drop like a 3-episode premiere or 2-episode premiere, whatever, and then drop an episode week by week. So then we don't feel it because traditional Netflix art has always been for years. You binge it, and that's what it is. And then you binge the first 5 episodes, and then people have that taste in their mouth, like, I guess I'll get around to it. And that's how I felt about part 1. I'm like, I guess I have to drag myself through part 2. And but thankfully, the second half was really good. So
yeah, I think they should take more of the Ozarks route, where like I like your ideas, but I think if you want to do 2 parts, just make the part 1 finale good.
Yeah.
Like if that's all, like Ozark, wasn't that when they crashed the car? Is the finale of the first
Something
one?
like that. I forgot. It's been a while.
Yeah, the part 1 is when they flip the car, right?
Yeah.
I believe that's what happens. Or is that when? I don't know, like something really exciting happens at the end of part 1.
But they ended it where
like that. If that's how you're gonna have to do it, you can't like end it all. Like I guess they thought it was a good finale where he kills all, but it was like the typical "I'm a villain, I set everybody on fire, and I left you all to escape." Like,
yeah, what it was too is like they never hinted at anything at once. Like what they should have done is cut that episode entirely, or like have like that happen. But like then at the end of it, we realized this episode premiere, the second part premiere was Joe killing Reese and realizing his figment, and then end it. That'd be holy shit.
Yeah, that would have been good if they would have waited, and the finale would have been him killing Reese and finding out, and then like, see you in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
that would have been dope.
That would have been.
I just think they picked the wrong. Like, that's a good example. They picked the wrong time to end it, and then like just do 4 episodes in your finale or whatever. Or
whatever.
Take, like you said, take 1 episode out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's if you're gonna do 2 parts, you kind of got to do it like that because nobody you don't want to end on a bad, like a boring episode. Because
I guarantee you, there's some people who still have not seen the second half. Because prior to Sean, I was lagging because we were supposed to shoot this when we were supposed to do a double header one day when we were shooting our episodes. And I didn't finish it yet because I was like, I guess I'll get to it. And Sean's like, I didn't get to it either. But thankfully, Sean started. He's like, oh, my God, this is amazing. So I was like, all right, I got to watch this
it was really good. I watched it like basically in one day.
Yeah, same. It was, I forgot which day. But clearly, we're doing the episode now, so it really doesn't matter where the fuck we watched it. But I'm looking right here. Yeah, the parts, in general, too, Netflix needs to stop doing these parts. But
I don't.
But I know why. It's because they're... I don't know.
Trying to get you to stay on the app longer, but then just do it like you said, episode by episode. But like 2 parts, like stupid. I think they're just trying to be different.
Yeah,
like you said, Amazon's got their way. Disney does it weekly. Amazon drops the first 3, then gives you the rest. Yeah. They don't want to be like, we're gonna do it like that.
Even Apple TV does. I didn't realize what that show Shrinking with Harrison Ford and Jason Segel. I thought it was done. No, they're doing it week by week. They're on episode 8 right now.
Oh.
So, excuse me. So I didn't know that, but like I said, it's gonna keep me coming back, and that's what you should do. And because it's not a big deal. Like it's not
Maybe
hard.
They're just trying to keep a delicate balance between doing that. Like they're trying to stay to their roots where they give you most of their content.
The only thing they have week by week is the reality shows they do.
What, Netflix?
Yeah.
They're week by week? I didn't even know that. I thought they were all...
Yeah, they're all week by week, but all their hit shows are either parts or just the entire season.
And they just started doing the parts because Ozarks was only part 1 and 2 the last season. Right?
Yeah.
Stranger Things, same thing. It was only parts this last season.
Yeah. And when I first thought they were doing it, I thought it was because they were still shooting Ozarks. I think Ozarks they were still shooting, so I think that's why. Because
I doubt that. Because it came out like 2 weeks later. Like, what would?
Maybe.
Maybe
there
3
was
weeks.
Some reason. Maybe.
But like, how much? Like
they had a valid, or maybe it was. Maybe I thought that in my head, but then I realized once they started doing these parts, they were just milking it.
Yeah, they're just trying to, like you said, try and keep you on the app for people who like Ozarks on the app for 2 months instead of 1.
Yeah.
Ozarks is good. You're gonna be done with it, and then you're done with. All right, I'm done with this shit. Like I haven't been back on Netflix since I finished You.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think they really need to dial it in. It just. They need to figure out a better algorithm, or just like I said, short. I don't know. I don't want to repeat myself too much, just because.
We don't like the parts.
Yes.
So find a better way. I don't know what it is. If you don't want to be like Disney or you want to be like Amazon, find a different way. Just be you. Drop all the fucking episodes. Who cares? Like.
Because that's what Netflix is always popular for.
People watch them at their own leisure anyway, so you might as well just play them.
Drop it all.
There's probably people who hadn't finished part 1 yet.
I want to watch House of Cards still. Like that's the.
I haven't finished House of Cards. I watched most of it. I don't think.
But I don't want Kevin Spacey left to dropped off. But I mean, it's like.
Can we say Kevin Spacey without getting canceled?
I mean, it's not a swear word. I guess it's a controversial word. I think it's fine. We just can't say the cough, as you know. We can't say that.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I don't know why we're discussing demonetization while we're doing a video to get monetized. So I'm gonna shut up. But that's. Do you have any final points for?
No, not really. Except for I really liked the second part. It was crazy twists and turns, and the finale was really, really good. Great plot twist.
Yes. Rating?
I'll give it I was gonna give it some higher, but I took into account something you said earlier about just how the first half was just so boring. I'll give it a 6.
Yeah, okay.
I was thinking more 7 to 8 before, just because, like I said, the second half was really good.
Yes.
He killed it playing Joe with the split personalities, and the Reese storyline was really interesting, and then how he kidnapped Marianne and had her trapped was interesting.
Yes.
So the second half was very good, but the first half was just boring. Outside of like the first episode,
cliche is the best word.
Outside of the first episode, all the rest were really ass. I didn't like them at all, and it didn't have any vibes of the traditional You seasons. But the second half was more like that, where Joe's just a psychopath, doing psycho things, killing everybody. And he had some good complimentary characters. I think Tom Lockwood was good. Reese, as like I said, the devil in the shoulder was awesome. The little weird rich girl and her weird boyfriend was
Kate?
That storyline.
Oh no, Phoebe and he was a douche.
Yeah, he was so weird. It was
but it's very his character.
It was
what they were talking about.
The way he died was fucked up, but Tom just had him killed. Was like, he's bothering me. He's like, all right, I'll just have him killed by some weird people. That came out of nowhere. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Okay.
But all right, like I said, I guess we should talk about more, but it's still going more on a tangent. I give it a 6. I thought it's definitely worth the watch, especially for like you. But the first half is pretty whack.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched any of the season yet, now's the time to, because you will probably have a better experience than we did, because we had to wait for the parts, which is unfortunate. But I think you guys will rate it higher if you've not watched it at all yet. Obviously, watching part 2, clearly you watched it. So I guess that's dumb advice. But anyway, or tell your friends or family if they haven't watched it yet. There you go.
Comment down below.
Yeah, comment down below how much we saved it for you. Yeah, I gave it a 6.8. The reason is, like Sean said earlier, well, actually, what I said earlier. Anyways, I'm gonna shut up.
He said it, then I said it.
Yeah, when he said what I said, he said. Is I just truly cannot forgive the first part. Is like in my head, I'm like, I have to be critical of that just because I can't let them, because the second half was so good. But I'm like, you dropped 5 episodes that were great and 5 episodes that were mid to, poor to mid. Like I can't, if half your season's that bad, I can't give you a high rating. But since the second half was so well done and the plot twists were constant and the pacing was good and it made me hooked to the TV. I was texting or calling. I'd be like, hey, I gotta go. I gotta fucking go watch this show. I can't talk to you right now. Would watch it and it just absolutely captivated. And I really do hope that they learn from the mistakes that they did for this. And like we said, is just ending on a good finale. We're gonna watch the part 1. So especially if it's the last season too. We're definitely gonna watch it. So end it on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And then we know, or start the show in the middle of the month or something instead of the beginning. So then you can have your 2-month thing. I get it. You're a business. Just play the game. Don't do a whole month
Don't
apart.
Intentionally make filler episodes.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. There was so much filler.
Netflix really doesn't have a lot of filler because they just give you all their content. If it's 6 episodes or if it's 10, it's whatever. This one felt like the first half was just filler because they wanted it to stretch. They could have took out some of those and made some of those. Y'all just doing whatever y'all want anyway. How about just they would have made the first half, some of those episodes, cut some of those, make them longer, and like you said, end the finale on him turning into Reese or him finding out Reese, and then stretch some of the second part episodes out a little bit more. Stranger Things was some of those were a movie long.
They were for the first part. 3 of them were an hour and a half each.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you're not playing by the traditional rules as it goes by episodes anyway. No. So do with that. But the first, like I said, the first episode was fine. It was you were seeing where Joe was. Somebody died. Yeah. It was a surprise. So that one was fine, but the rest of them were just whack.
It started off strong, then fell flat, and then ended flat, and then it came up strong. But a month later, it's your show already died out. I think it would have been beneficial for them because there was no discussion at all online when part 1 was done. But this is the first time since part 2 came out. I've been seeing TikToks of you again. And we were talking about you around the time, so I definitely would have seen it on TikTok or Twitter. But I hear nothing for part 1, but I heard a bunch of stuff for part 2. So that's what I'm saying. The endings matter. So if you ended on a good part, you'll be able to have better feedback overall. People are going to rewatch it and break it down, try to find the little Easter eggs. People are going to do that now because of part 2.
What they forgot.
Yeah. So I mean, hopefully they don't do that. They probably will. They're obviously going to do parts for season 5, 100%. But again, they just need to end it properly.
Yeah, find a better. Like I said, maybe they thought that little fire scene was a good cliffhanger, but it was pretty whack and cliche.
It felt like a cable TV show.
Yeah, like some lame shit.
We gotta find him, chase him
Dr.
down.
Evil, like, I'm gonna leave you here, Austin Powers. And there's no way you're gonna escape.
Yeah, but then it all made sense when we realized Joe
really
was having a breakdown.
Yeah.
He only knows the cliches of all that type of stuff. And that was the most cliche thing you can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is it for this episode, guys. A little short one today, but like I said, if you add these part 1 to part 2 together, it's about an hour. Yeah. So I will connect it in the thingy and the screen thingy where you click it. So go watch part 1 if you haven't yet to see our reaction there, our breakdown there. Other than that, before you head out, do us a favor, leave a like right now, subscribe down below, follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Links are on the screen and down below. Other than that, I am Tom. This is Sean, and we'll see you guys next episode. Take care.